Hey everybody, Yvette here with TrueHealingSource.com. Let's talk a little bit about what it means to be in the now, in the present moment. The majority of us aren't really living in the now for a good majority of our lives. We're sort of sleepwalking through life, the same old unconscious tapes playing over and over again in our minds as we mindlessly go about the days that we live on autopilot. We're in a state of unconscious or hypnosis by our programmed thoughts and behaviors. In some cases, we're in a constant state of worry about something either from the past that we experienced or maybe a trauma, and we're reliving it over and over again in our current life as we go about our day. We might be upset about the cashier that was rude to us, or a person that pissed us off when they cut us off in traffic, or maybe you're worried about something that may or may not happen in the future. They say about 95 to 99% of the stuff that we worry about, that we make up in our own minds, never actually happens anyway. So it's really, when you think about it, just a waste of time to worry and panic about stuff that hasn't happened yet, that we kind of create for ourselves to cause drama in our lives. What I've experienced in my own personal life as I have become more aware of the concept of living in the, now and living in the moment is a couple things personally. I've realized that I was kind of floating through life, and even as I started practicing being in the moment more, so to speak, I realized that I could recognize so many times where I would have a conversation with somebody or be in a connection with somebody, and I wasn't even really present or conscious in what I was experiencing. I would catch myself having a conversation with somebody and then walking away and not remembering parts of the conversation that even happened because I was already in my own mind looking forward in the future, kind of like what I was, going to do after that conversation that I was having with the person, what I had to get to, what I had to do, something about the next day for work or whatever. And so I wasn't really present as I was with that person or hearing everything that was going on and really responding from a conscious level. I wasn't present, I wasn't conscious, I wasn't connected. I was sort of in a state of hypnosis in my usual thoughts that were just playing over and over again in my own head. I've definitely experienced this with others too. There have been many times when I've been on the phone with somebody, having a conversation that I thought was meaningful, only to realize that they weren't even paying attention to anything that was going on between us. Every once in a while they would say, uh-huh, uh-huh, and I would just completely stop talking just to see if they would notice sometimes, and I'd realize that they were having multiple conversations other than the one that we were having, and that maybe they were in the background laughing with somebody else or doing something else, and they weren't really paying attention to anything that was going on between us. So what I recognized from those experiences were that, first of all, it didn't feel good, of course, to be on the receiving end of that, not being acknowledged and feeling like you're being ignored. But that's not the kind of person I want to be, and I don't, want others to feel that way around me or as a result of, something that we're doing, conversation we're having together, and I don't want to make people feel that way. So when I began practicing being more aware and bringing myself into the present moment, which I still have to consciously do, um, I've started to experience more appreciation for the moment, first of all, but more appreciation for the person that I'm connecting with, as I begin experiencing being more in the moment. I experience more heartfelt joy in the moment. And this has definitely had a domino effect in other areas of my life. I definitely want more of those conscious connection moments because they just feel good to have and good to experience. So, for example, as I started out practicing being in the moment more, I might be having a conversation with one of my daughters, and if my brain tries to take over and have those, fleeting thoughts of other things I need to take care of, what I'll do is I'll actually focus more and be present and look into their eyes, watch their expressions on their face as we're talking. I feel like I'm dropping more into my heart, and I actually listen and pay attention, and I'm engaged more, and it feels different the way I'm hearing them or receiving them. Um, I ignore my phone if I see it lighting up out of the corner of my eye if it happens to be in the same room. Those emails and messages can definitely wait. Instead, I just practice being there, being in that moment. And I've begun to feel tremendous appreciation for those moments in time with someone that are especially so very precious to me. Knowing that nothing else matters in the entire world in that very moment, and that that moment is all there is. Um, I'll never be able to relive those moments other than in my memory. On a physical level, they're not going to happen again, specifically in those ways. And in some cases, my heart just wells up with joy and love and appreciation when I'm in the moment and I realize what's happening in that moment. And sometimes my eyes well up with tears. I just can't help it. Um, this also happens with my dogs in our home. I love animals, and sometimes we're in such a hurry that we just rush by and barely acknowledge our pets who are so dedicated and loving to us and committed to us, and we might just quickly pet them on the head and keep going what we're doing. And for me now, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll actually stop everything I'm doing and I'll bend over or sit down or, bring him over to the couch with me and I'll talk with them and pet them. And, you can see the joy that they're having, that they're just having that attention from you and they're so in the moment themselves. That's how they live. And they're just in a state of joy and appreciation and feeling worthy. And for me, there's no better feeling in the world when you can experience that with your pet or somebody else that you care about. There are other ways you can do this in small ways for yourself, such as taking time to enjoy your lunch or a cup of coffee. I know for myself sometimes I'll rush to make something to eat because it's quick, which probably isn't the most healthiest way to do things either. And then I just want to get back to what I'm doing, whether it's something I'm studying, something for my business, or something on the computer that I'm researching. And so I'll make my food as quick as I can and I'll sit down and I'll continue doing what I'm doing without realizing that I'm eating, and I don't even recognize it, in some cases where I just mindlessly I eat my food and I don't even taste it. Sometimes I'll want a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and I'll get up to make it, or my hot chocolate, and I'll sit down with it again. I'll continue what I'm doing and I just sip on it as I'm going through my work, and I don't really taste it and take the time to enjoy it. So more now, so when I recognize those times, I'll actually stop, consciously make my food and take the time to actually make myself something healthy. And I'll sit down away from my computer and my phone and my Kindle, and sometimes I won't even be in the same room with those devices, and I'll enjoy my food. I'll sit down and I'll invite my dog Sophie to snuggle up with me, and I'll eat my lunch or drink my tea or whatever it is I'm doing, and I'll just take a few moments to savor it. It doesn't have to be long periods of time. It's just taking those few moments to actually be in the moment and enjoy life, something small. It doesn't have to be something huge. And you end up feeling such tremendous gratitude, and honestly, it's really calming and relaxing. If you're in a state of anxiety or high stress, it can be so beneficial for just sitting for a few moments and relaxing and enjoying that moment. Sometimes I have to talk myself out of hurrying back to my phone to check it and see if there's any new emails or anything, or, my computer, but it gets easier and easier as I practice being in the moment and being in the present. Sometimes I know for myself, being aware and conscious of being in the moment has touched my life in so many other ways. If you struggle with anxiety and stress, lack of joy, I definitely encourage you to take even just a few minutes, 5 minutes. We all have at least 5 minutes each day to stop and smell the roses, as they say, for example. Even just starting with something small like savoring your cup of coffee, stepping away from your phone or computer or office for just 5 minutes, stepping outside, feeling the sun on your face, and acknowledging and feeling the appreciation for that sunshine, the warmth of the sunshine on your face, the fact that you actually have a physical body, and that you're so blessed to be able to experience this physical lifetime with all your senses. Look into your loved one's eyes when you're talking together. That can bring such a connection between you and help both of you feel like you're being acknowledged and that you're worthy. Give your children your full attention when they come to you. That is huge for their sense of self-worth and feeling supported by you. I can definitely attest to that. Look for ways to stop the mind chatter for moments in your day, even if it's just for a moment here and there, even if you're sitting at your desk at work and you can just stop, take a breath, and look away from your computer and just find something in your own mind to say thank you for, to feel appreciation for. The fact that you're breathing, the fact that you have a house to go back to, the fact that you maybe have loved ones to go back to, that you have a pet waiting for you at home that is just going to go bananas and crazy when you walk through that door wagging their tail. You are worth it. We're all worth it. Your happiness is worth it. Your peace of mind is worth it. And your life is passing you by. It's not, going backwards. It's going forward and time is passing by. Don't look back one day and wish you were more present with your loved ones and in your own life and actually experiencing your life instead of just mindlessly going through your life without, actually living life and enjoying it. Thank you so much for being present and listening in today. Next time, we're going to talk about the difference between gratitude and appreciation. Blessings of optimal health and peace. Namaste.